right? What can we actually extrapolate from those games? IMT, I think, are a much more patient team around the vision that they get. Golden Guardians are just a different team. They have two different players. I'm high on Chime, and Solo is a veteran that he's been in those moments ago, time and again, has been to Worlds and all these things. So I want to see more of both of these teams, especially Golden Guardians with the new players that they have.
Yeah, and Solo definitely, I feel like every time he shows up, he's just good.
Yep.
and that certainly looks to be the case there from yesterday. Chime definitely the kind of player where kid's got great hands, right? Really dedicated player, someone that you want to develop and see there. But Solo kind of provides a bit more consistency, stability, and leadership, right, that may have been lacking in early iterations of the roster. But that man we saw briefly on your screen right there is the man that I and you all should be watching. Blaze Olive certainly on fire as he kicks off his second game of the split. Varus, Udi, though, the bands from IMT and Senarenectin Rumble.
Is it a G? Is it a Wen?
Oh, that's true. Probably has to be Gwen. It is Gwen.
All right, perfect. Which does mean that the Rumble does go to Xerxes.
Oh, thank you.
Exactly. So he's going to be happy about that. This is proper drafting for Immortals on that.
Stop. Just pick Rumble.
And, you know, play with your time. You have a lot of time. That's one of the things that I love doing. Even if you know guaranteed what you're going to be picking in your first pick, buy more time to just kind of talk about the draft from that point forward. First 3 picks are usually well understood. It's more so like reminding people what are we going to do in ifs and statements, if they pick this and that. So Lee Sin, of course, with Kaisa being picked up by Golden Guardians, I wonder if Immortals are going to try and respond with.
Also curious, he was getting the Lee Sin, right, on the Golden Guardian side. Definitely a triple flex in a lot of ways, although least likely to be jungle.
Ray's had a fantastic game on the Tristana, so I expect that to be an instant lock-in for him, even though it can be flexible. And that's one thing people need to respect. Yesterday's games, when Immortals took the win over 100 Thieves, people will oftentimes focus on the karma, when I think a big, spear to 100 Thieves was the Jace flex. I and 100 Thieves for sure thought that the Jace was going to be a blind pick towards the top lane, but in reality, it was a Jace straight to mid, and it was a set answer into Wukong. So I think Immortals in general are a really great drafting team because of what Insanity can bring to them. So one thing you always have to be thinking about, speaking of the set being locked in for them, can go mid, top, support, fantastic pick.
Yeah, lots of flexibility in general on the IMT side. As nice little shout out there for Blaze Olive. We're just going to consolidate the bottom lane and take Leona. So Lee Sin staying flexible. Again, if I'm Golden Guardians, I'm probably looking to a Blaze Olive for counter pick here. But if the Lee Sin matchup he likes and he wants to play Lee Sin, obviously has that opportunity there as well. Alistar, the next man here for Golden Guardians. So picking on Destiny's champ pool a little bit here, trying to set up Stixxay and Chime as best they can.
I'm interested in what Golden Guardians' philosophy around counter picking is, because it's usually pretty easy to blind pick for mid lane. Like Orianna or Victor in certain circumstances. Even Zoe can be safe. So if they do that and they care a lot about the Solo's matchup, then be throwing bans in that direction or a pick in that in 5th pick. So this will tell us a lot for Golden Guardians going into the future and their drafting philosophy.
Also curious where the damage profile is going to land, right? Is Iconic going to play an AP jungler and which one?
Yeah.
He was pretty big on Talia last split. That was a long time ago now. That champion's definitely fallen out of favor in the jungle. So is it something like the Nidalee as Nautilus gets banned away for Golden Guardians? With something like Nocturne being targeted, again, another great solo lane / jungler, another good triple flex champion you can play. But curious to see how Golden Guardians want to finish this comp. Because I feel like IMT, when you get first pick Rumble, as Xerxes, your draft just feels so easy on the Immortals side.
Yeah, and now they have to have the setup around the Rumble pick. Set's a great team fighter, and also, much like you saw earlier today with Dignitas' composition, Set, Rumble, beautiful in team fights. But adding an extra bit with your support is going to do them a lot of good. So with the Nautilus and Alistar being banned by Golden Guardians, they can go for a Thresh. It really depends on if he feels comfortable in that matchup into Golden Guardians. Hey, you can even say that the Set's enough of a team fighter, we can go towards Braum, or you can just bring the Set as a support. I think they'll do that, actually.
Whoa!
There it is! That's a Jinx bot lane and a Tristana mid.
And there's the Thresh. So Set top, Tristana mid, Jinx and Thresh together there. So Ray's going to be on the hyper carry here. It's going to be Insanity again, using that flexibility to craft a very different draft this time. We'll hover his favorite champion. If you're wondering why he's called Chime, he loves Bard. Hopefully that was obvious to you all. Is Gangplank? Nope, not yet. Syndra. Maybe. We'll see. 5 seconds for Golden Guardians.
Syndra's a tough one. I think with the composition they have, having some level of pick in their comp does help them. So it's going to be a lock-in on the Syndra for a Blaze Olive. But I love IMT's composition. I mean, there's a reason why Thresh was banned so consistently at MSI, because he just enables a lot of immobile AD carries. Aphelios Thresh is one thing, Jinx Thresh is another, and so now if there's a Chompers that lands or a Hook that lands, you can combine it with one another. And then, of course, if you're taking mid lane wave, you're always safe if Thresh is there, and it adds to the level of pick that you have. Only concern for me is double AD carry, you have a Rumble with you, a Thresh, a frontliner that can really give you space is what I want. And I think that's going to have to be the set. So a lot of responsibility there for Revenge to create space for the AD carries to walk up safely.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they've got, you know, Thresh to help reposition, Tristana has her jumps, Jinx can get excited, Xerxes can create a very big zone of pressure as the Rumble. But yeah, as soon as the things start falling down, they're going to fall over real quick if IMT can't figure out the texture of the team fight.
To talk about the Syndra a little bit, I know a lot of people have been wondering about the Syndra pick because it feels a little out of meta now. But I think it's still great into AD mids specifically. If you're going up against a Tristana or a Lucian, wants to dash straight forward into you, of course, then you have a very easy defensive counterplay to that. A lot of people will cast their minds at the 100 Thieves game, I think, last split, where, yeah, I mean, if you just make one key mistake, Tristana jumping into the Syndra, you know, in that instance, it was 100 Thieves versus TSM, where Power of Evil just said, okay, I'm just going to QE into you, and you're dead. So watch out for that one. It's going to have to be a defensive play from Insanity in this game.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, Ablaze Olive, the player are we looking at to have another very good game here. He is extremely comfortable on mages. Zoe in the last game, Syndra in this one, so hoping he can repeat that on the Golden Guardian side. For IMT, feeling like they've figured out how they want to be playing, right? Again, I think something we've heard constantly throughout the first 2 days of this split is, what is the meta? We don't know.
Yeah.
And honestly, we don't think anybody else knows either. So trying to figure out what works for you, I think, seems to be the most important thing right now. And for IMT, getting Rumble first and figuring it out from there, using Insanity as a pivot point in draft, seems to be how IMT want to approach these games. And so far, so good.
It's always a gambit if you're going into, you know, Xerxes, and you're like, okay, we're on red side, so there are a certain amount of bans we need. Is Rumble that ban? This time around, they felt like they were confident going into it. They have Syndra and Italy, so a lot of, you know, sit down, engage. So they, if the QE lands on towards the Rumble, then you can just jump on top of him. They have a lot of kill engage type with Kaisa involved as well. So they have an answer. But if it doesn't pay off, then you know what? Social media is going to hate you. Everyone's going to despise you for it.
Yeah. I also know Freak mentioned this earlier today, but I do want to reiterate it because I think it's just a cool thing in general. Leona being able to build Locket is something that also helps as a little bit of anti-Rumble tech on the fringe.
Yeah.
So I like that here from Chime as well. Definitely expect that mythic out of him, as already mid laners have started to push miding waves because that's our mid lane.
Here we go. Interesting note here is that both Iconic and Xerxes are going to be pathing towards bot lane. So bot lane Scuttle Crab is probably just going to be a scrap for that one, but I expect Raze and Destiny to do well on that front. Like, Thresh is the old school answer into the Leona. If he ever wants to engage, then you get a flay off of that one. So that's an option. And you also have Cleanse on a Raze, so they should feel pretty safe from an all-in coming in from Stixxay and Chime. So going to be interesting to see what ends up happening there.
Also curious how the top lane matchup is going to shake out. I feel like Lee Sin is so good at bullying other champions, especially melees. That's a great dodge from Insanity. But Sett also feels really good at beating up other melee champions, so we'll have to see that now.
A lot of faith there in the bottom lane of both Stixxay and Chime. I know we always talk about the new members, but a lot of people were reigniting the hype on Stixxay after last split. There was a lot of negatives from what was happening from Golden Guardians, but Stixxay being a positive was always nice. You know, the veteran coming onto the team.
Revenge is just
smacking them.
Reconcile. I mean, that's Sett passive, man. Pretty good in the early levels.
People just want to make Freak mad. That's just the note here.
That is a pretty common thread.
Yeah.
With Freak. We'll see what happens.
I will let you know he doesn't get mad. He's just ball of positivity and trolling.
That's true. It is a very curious combination as Invade here for Xerxes.
Ooh.
Sneaky smite. Iconic gonna lose the Grump there. Feels pretty bad, man. Xerxes already level 4.
That's a lot of confidence from him there because he knew that not only was Raze and Destiny pushing in, like we said, that was just going to be a key factor there, but he felt like he could go in and invade, and that's going to be sniping out that Grump, helping them royally.
Oh my goodness,
Great
Solo.
trade.
Oh, he gets pulled back in. Revenge!
just jokes.
Set, man. What a champion. Revenge. That had to have been max range on that face breaker, but Revenge finds it there solo. Unfortunately for him, going to lose that trade, and that means this crab is going to be tricky to defend for Iconic.
Quick.
Xerxes once again is at it. No smite for Iconic either. It's a tragedy. And now Revenge is going in again. He's in a 1v2, pulls them both in. Revenge makes it happen as Xerxes finds the first blood. And you can't keep feeding Rumble. Kills, man. Xerxes looking for the second. Not going to grab it, but he's going to get the Scuttle Crab instead.
This is a sad game for Iconic. He was literally stuck between a rock and a hard place there. I wanted to get the Scuttle Crab and get the hell out, but they saw an opportunity on Revenge, but perfectly placed. Bonk on the head for both of them, setting himself up for success, and now that's going to be behind.
The old reversey there as Destiny wanted a hook chime anyway. Chime going in with the Zenith play, but Stick say no, not even close to that one. So costly cancel of the recall there for Chime. I think he just got baited in. Is forced to flash over the wall.
Definitely blows for him. At least he has Hex Flash, so from an aggressive
rude.
standpoint, that's going to be nice. Yeah, he's just camping out the Raptors.
Thought Iconic was going to get barbecued once again.
And this is just beautiful from IMT. 2 games in a row where they're playing around Xerxes' experience and, of course, the comfort in his Rumble pick. Even if he didn't have Rumble, I think they're just doing a great job keeping the first 10 minutes consistent and discipline around their jungler. So good stuff overall from them. And now he has a pretty large lead, 3 camps over the Nidalee. And the Nidalee is a champion that needs to be up in experience and all these things to feel relevant in a game. At least she'll have some setup from the Syndra, but this is it. She didn't think that she could take the Scuttle Crab fast enough, and so Revenge placed nicely in between both champions and gets the execution on solo.
Yeah, Iconic lucky to get away there. Xerxes overheating, so doing a bit of bonus damage, but not quite enough distance to Flame Spitter or Harpoon down Iconic. So Iconic at least lived through that one, but Immortals off to a 1,000 gold lead already.
Yeah, and this is going to be tough for solo now because it was already rough in the 1v1, and now the 2v2 is not looking good for you. And then if you were to look towards mid lane, if Insanity, if he gets a push in the mid lane, as he should at some point, as it ping-pongs, he's going to find a good timer to find a 3-man dive top lane. So there's a lot so far to be concerned about with Golden Guardians in the top end jungle.
All right, we'll see how it all pans out. Revenge already level 6, so Solo just going to have to chill out. Luckily for him, we know there is no Rumble in the area, because this wave is very diveable. Yeah. And Solo probably realizing that, but just wants to get to 6 and clear it out as soon as possible. And with Revenge backing off, it's pretty confident that Xerxes isn't here this time.
And I wonder what the game plan is going to be for IMT. They can continue to play towards that advantage in Revenge. But I also think that what they should do is try and pivot their advantage towards Dragons. I think they did a great job yesterday Dragon stacking, and they also just have a lot of pressure here. Wonder if that's going to turn into a dive.
Raze is destroying 6 on CS right now. This early 2v2 looking real good for IMT.
Yeah, the range advantage is always going to be there, and Leona really is just a sitting duck, especially after losing her flash prior. Not going to have an angle here, so just a free dragon there from Xerxes, and it means that IMT are going to be pretty consistent around that. This is a really early dragon, 7 minutes on, of course, going to be able to pick this one up, and that just means that Golden Guardians have to be aware that you have now IMT pressure top lane, IMT pressure bot lane. They can really get away with a lot.
Yeah, really just is mid that has a little bit of presence for Golden Guardians. Blazel is a little bit ahead in CS. Yeah. Does have the push pretty consistently, which is good, so clearly navigating this 1v1 well, but that's fine for Insanity, right? As long as he gets farm and gold, Tristana's going to be good. Yeah. If not even, if not a lot better than that in the mid to late game here. And in fact, Xerxes is even going to have a visit, because Insanity probably wants to recall. Yeah, he's definitely being blocked off here on a good timer, so overall. But hey, you know what? Your Golden Guardians, you're going to have faith in one member on your team, especially after yesterday's performance. It is going to be Olive, so love the fact that, you know, he's positioned in a decent spot in this matchup. It's one of those things where we said it really early on, Syndra versus Tristana, it's going to work out well for Syndra, especially as the game goes on and she's not really dealing with the mana issues that she would have versus, you know, a typical AD matchup. So this is going to get better for Golden Guardians in the mid lane, but that is going to have to, it's just, the pace is going to be ramped up from IMT side lanes. Yeah, going to have to have enough kind of gas in the tank to take out some of these squishies, because there are so many threats on the IMT side. Yeah. As you mentioned, Raz, it is a little bit fragile, right? Revenge is kind of has to work overtime as a frontliner here in this kind of game. IMT will have to position well, not get themselves blown up, and Kai'Sa Syndra definitely, alongside Leona, can find some pretty swift kills, but mid lane, it's a Blazeolive getting dunked on by Insanity, but a Blazeolive just going to E away and walk back to the tower. No need to overextend there.
Yeah, Olive is understanding not only that Thresh is not in lane, so being, playing respectfully, but also if the Tristan is just jumping straight on top of your head when you have your cooldowns on, he just knows that there's more than just two people here.
All right, these two at it again. Solo eating the wrong end of the trade as Set just pummels poor Lee Sin in the minion wave.
Feels bad. Really does. Looks like Iconic setting up here. They don't have TP in either lanes here, so it's just going to be these three members.
They've cut off Thresh as well, and Iconic's actually completely zoned Destiny off. TP's not there either, so they're just going to go for it there. Chime looking for the kill. Raze is going to click the lantern out of there, but the hook is good, and Stix's going all in for Raze in the back line. Gets exhausted. There's the flash in. What a flay out of Destiny, but Iconic will at least get one.
Nice. Really well done. Golden Guardians felt like they needed to extend for a play off that one. Destiny played that out as well as he could. That play helping out Raze there. Exhaust as well. Good job from him, but overall, just a great play from Golden Guardians now to get that kill on the worst Destiny.
And honestly, great for Iconic to show some presence, right?
Yeah.
Often feel like, there's a lot of power clearing with these kind of junglers, but Iconic knows he has to tip the scale somewhere in one of the lanes they're losing, either top or bot, decides on the bot dive, and does get the kill as a result. Xerxes, though, now back out and pressuring the bottom half of the map as Iconic's going to take a recall.
Yeah, speaking of playing with your jungler, I think that's the one thing that Golden Guardians didn't really have last split. To your point, right, Iconic played pretty focused on just jungle clear, full clearing, and playing for his own advantage. But then he had, Niles in the top lane that was just trying to ramp up, looking for solo kills, looking for an angle in lane. So if you just are not on the same page, that's just going to happen. So this time around, it's just a nice slower game pace of game for Golden Guardians, especially starting off in a deficit, that he's able to make this play happen. We didn't get to see it. A lot of people didn't really focus on the mini-map on this one, but as they were making the dive play, Olive was hovering and was moving in case he was needed. So far, a great play from Golden Guardians, but remember who got the Rift Herald early on in this game.
Yep, it is, of course, IMT, and that will mean the first tower, plus all the plates generously gifted over to Raze and his Jinx, which is looking mighty scary already as Dixie is just going to pick up the scraps here in bottom lane. Yeah,
in the end of the day, Golden Guardians are still behind in this game. By quite a lot. So it's going to take a little bit more than that for Golden Guardians to feel like they have a headway here. It's really fun a lot of times. The Lee Sin is really tough to deal with in a lot of matchups. And this one, just mostly because a lot of the ways you counter versus a sustain-heavy AD top laner is you just go for a Grievous Wound defensive item, like Bramble Vest mostly. But with Lee Sin, he's not impacted. You could just W and sustain off the minion wave. You max your magic damage, Tempest E, and so it's really tough. But Solo here is just being pummeled, and now Destiny's actually the whole crew's here.
Yeah, Solo gonna have to get out, but Flash is enough. Good hook attempt from Destiny, but not quite enough to make it happen here. Chime, they're looking for the re-engage. It's a 2v4 though, and Chime just a little too far forward. It's going to be picked off by Xerxes.
Yeah, we knew they were in the bush, so that one is an overstep. They were just tunneling to try and find a way to get Solo underneath turret, but now you're just shedding off lives here for it.
Yeah, a little too much confidence there for Chime, as he does waltz in and get himself picked off. Stixay trying to, do something here and get some gold back. These plates are very juicy.
Yeah.
But he's going to get TP'd on and forced away his revenge. Going to swap these down to the bottom side. Ablaze Olive. Big damage, but not enough.
This game state's going to be really tough for Golden Guardians. I know they suffered off that play up top lane, but it's just going to be Raze and Destiny. Oh, where are we sending that one?
Whee!
Oh, they were trying to steal, I think. Yeah, they're probably trying to steal the dragon. But my point was that they're just going to park Raze and Destiny in front of her turret.
Oh,
I don't know why he's still there.
Into the chomp as Solo kicks him out of the way, gets over the wall, but Insanity's going to flash on top of him. And now Raze is there. The two ADs won't stop chasing, and Solo is going to be picked off by the other AD.
It's only going to get worse here for Golden Guardians, losing lives for this one. When that top lane turret was always going to die now, this is going to be tough. Maybe they can try a collapse on it, but Raze and Destiny are already heading back to base here.
And again, Insanity going to get zoned off here. Blaze Olive, doing what he can, but despite having a decent lead, getting some plates, Stixay's getting a bit more gold, has the Kraken Slayer now finish. It's just, it's not so much the items, because, it is somewhat balanced because the gold hasn't quite grown enough, even though IMT do have a very healthy gold lead.
Yeah.
But just the plates taken and the map stayed.
Yeah.
It is so hard for Golden Guardians to make headway once the map is so enclosed for them.
Exactly, because they're recognizing what Golden Guardians' play is. And so knowing that Stixxay was trying to take bottom lane turrets, oh no, Revenge sees his next target.
Nice angle here from Revenge. Blaze Olive. Oh, the Stridebreaker just clipped him over the wall. We don't go because that's not how it works, but Revenge gets a very well-deserved kill.
There it is. I mean, this is just map presence and a great understanding from Revenge and Destiny working together. You saw the message from a fan who was excited to see Destiny on Hook Champion, and you know what? He's performing really well on it.
Certainly known for his Thresh back home.
True.
But in general, very good on the champion, is feeling comfy. Destiny, definitely one of those players. Remember his Blitzcrank game from last split, perhaps? That was amazing. And then sometimes, you know, Destiny's pretty invisible, even though he does like this style of champions. But when the man hits, he hits a lot. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, players look so much better when they're just on the same page.
Right.
And you're right. Like, when he's on that Blitzcrank, Thresh, playmakers, then he looks great. And IMT were on the same page on that one. It wasn't just him a part of the play. It was also, you know, Revenge finding a great flank there. So got to give credit to the team as a whole, coaching staff that IMT has had, because in the meantime, from spring to summer, that has been a real level up.
And for Golden Guardians, curious what they can kind of do to weasel their way out. I mean, the map problems notwithstanding, right, they're going to have to find a way to get some of these turrets and open up the map, because otherwise, it's just practically unplayable.
All right.
But even like with their comp, they got a lot of poke and some pick, but IMT just not giving them anything.
They're just a journeying squad here. Can't touch the goon squad roaming your own jungle.
Trying to throw the ring into the volcano. All sticking together.
The fellowship. Yeah, Solo, he's been burned before in the top side of the map, so he's definitely just going to let his team at least trade Rift Herald and not die for it bot side. But it hurts if you're, you know, just consistently losing out in minions.
Every time Revenge Stridebreak is towards someone, I'm very fearful for that player's life.
Yep.
Set is... It goes from, oh, I'm hanging out on your screen, till you got dunked into my team very swiftly, as Raze is going to finish off the third tower there for IMT and get a bit of gold for the side. Blaze Olive again working on something here in the side lane. Hasn't shopped in a while either, as Insanity also taking out more towers there. Gets 4 now on the Immortals side.
So this is a good reaction and a response from Golden Guardians to trade sides. I do wish more teams would do this. This is just tough because you're trading sides versus a Tristana who is going to power through the turret. So while she's able to get the second turret in the bot side of the map, not able to respond on the top side. So IMT recognizes that, able to create their own play and block the play that Golden Guardians are going for themselves. So it is a great idea, but Golden Guardians are just too far behind this game.
Yep. And that Rift Herald there for Iconic, going to be very important to get value out of it here. I think the ideal scenario is that you crack mid with it, right? And just finally give yourself that space in the center of the Rift. Iconic, oh goodness.
Here we go.
Incoming dunk. Team the plate's going to go wide. Solo's here as well, though 3v1 for second to get kicked his way out of there. And not enough as Iconic will get the kill.
All right, man down there. And IMT wasn't really making a play there at the same time, so just a life in vain. Great job from Golden Guardians. Probably didn't see the TP coming, so that's going to be Revenge falling for nothing.
That's the Undercover Boss episode they don't air, right? Where just gets 1v3 in the top jungle as Set does fall. Insanity not done. Apparently he's just permanently in the bot lane now. It's a one-lane game as far as he's concerned.
True, no one can touch him. Olive is able to get the top lane turret, but yeah, we're just kind of waiting for the next dragon, and thankfully because Golden Guardians were able to take the second one, it's going to be an extended time before there's really a soul point threat. So expecting this to be more of a Baron game, honestly. We'll see a little bit as this, if Golden Guardians actually wants to contest this. I don't imagine that they would want to. Olive has TP. If we see him wanting to fight for this, he's going to TP mid lane so they can get pressure here first. But now, Dragon's just gone.
Yeah, I think they'll give it up, and I think that's a very reasonable play. I think they wanted the timing on mid to try and herald it and at least take that down, but Raze is actually doing a really good job of recognizing that and keeping the wave pushed in the other direction. So Immortals will get the Dragon. They'll collect their second for themselves and defend the other side as that Herald is trying to get the back door.
Behind enemy line.
That charge isn't enough though, Shelly! Probably running out, actually.
Yeah. You can do what you want with that one. I mean, you tried your best. You did what you could there with your very slim lifeline.
I mean, unfortunately for Golden Guardians, still one tower to fall, right? They do attack mid, which is the right spot to go for, but need a lot more here. Blaze Olive and Stixxay are like, how am I supposed to outpush this 2-item Jinx?
Yeah. It's tough. If you're trying to find angles for Golden Guardians in terms of like, people always think, oh, maybe sneak a Baron, but their composition doesn't really do well around that. You have a lot of damage from the Kai'Sa, sure, but much like the last game, not enough tankiness from, let's say, the Lee Sin or Leona to sit on it for a long time if they do get contested there. So that's one aspect. And then, yeah, you don't really have a side lane threat there because Revenge is always going to match you, same with Tristana. So it's tough. You lose in team fights, you lose in side lanes, you can't sneak Baron, you're just waiting. Defensively, draw out your lines and wait for IMT to make a mistake.
Feels very much like a trade sides and find picks. And unfortunately for IMT, they're just glued together here. There's the suplex out of Revenge, and a Blaze Olive will just get ripped to pieces.
Yeah, we had God mode there. We could see everything in the jungle. They just didn't know where IMT was going exactly. Straight towards the top lane is the answer.
Blaze Olive even had a flash, but this time just knows no point using that one.
Yeah, it's rough.
Just gets himself picked off there. Oh, Destiny with the read. May have spotted Iconic wandering in.
With that kill, you can go Baron, but it's 19 minutes, 19:40 into the game. It's one of those things where they have such control over there. This could be another.
That's such a great toggle. Oh, Iconic, it's bait!
Yeah.
It's so much bait! Iconic gets himself played, put into the box by Destiny, and taken down as Raze. Getting awfully excited here in the top tier 2 as Immortals will take yet another tower.
What's been happening over there in the IMT camp? Is it Kyoto Academy? What's going on in there? They have been leveling up, and they just feel so damn confident around their vision.
Yeah, the vision has been the real thing that's killing Golden Guardians. Yes, like the advantage they got that led to this particular map is the reason Immortals can afford to do this with all their vision. But that vision being consistently denied and put up for Immortals makes Golden Guardians' life absolute hell. It's so hard to see unless you've experienced this as a League player, right?
Yeah.
Because we can see everything. You're like, oh, that's a bit silly. Why are you standing there? But when you're in this kind of game, you're just like, what do I do? Where do I go?
It's one of the values of
What year is it?
Exactly. The value of Pro View is that you're like, it's suffocating in here.
Yeah.
You can't really see much.
Awfully dark in here.
Yeah, so you're definitely not going to be able to turn the lights on. Dragon's coming up in 2 minutes, and so it's just IMT recognizing that they're just going to camp out your topside jungle and force you to make a mistake. And they, Golden Guardians have been making a few. I think we need a triple blue trinket here just so we can, if the first 2 expire, then IMT just doesn't easily count that and just start up on the Baron, because that's the real threat here at the end of the day.
Ray's just so confident. Again, has all the vision, knows exactly where all of Golden Guardians are. IMT going to play for this third dragon in about 1:30. But again, anything they do on the side, oh, Stixxay making the play. I love the enthusiasm, but Insanity going to turn it back around. Stixxay forced to flash. Destiny finds the hook once again. A Raze with Xerxes just blowing up the rest of Golden Guardians, and now Revenge. He's about to do it again. He's looking to solo solo as he does hop away to safety, but IMT have opened up the Baron.
There's just no opening in IMT's offense here. It's just Golden Guardians thinking they can find an angle, but nope, the squad is ready in IMT side, and this will be a free Baron for IMT.
All right, Revenge. Oh, how'd you get here?
Oh,
He's
nice.
TP'd over.
Nice seeing you here.
Hello. Doesn't need to even get Iconic, just make a choice here for the squad. IMT continuing to look really good, honestly, in these opening games.
And their schedule is going to be interesting to look forward to, because their standings right now is pretty good, 8-11. At the very beginning of the split, there's a lot you can go off of. And just taking a look at this one, Olive found the stun, instantly follow up by Stixxay. Of course, the cleanse is going to be there from Raze and the Lantern. The crew was already, and a perfect Rumble ultimate from Xerxes. So they thought they had an angle there. I thought the same. Not the case. Excellently followed up.
Yeah, and you have to take it right as Golden Guardians. You're running out of options here in this game. Again, aggressively TPing in. Solo is straight onto Insanity, but he gets busted, shot it back into the team. Now going to kick him forward. Solo needs more than that, though, and Insanity's just out of there. Flashes over to the safety of the Krugs. Raises on a rampage as Destiny's found another hook. Are you kidding me? Revenge going to take down a Blaze Olive off that play, and Xerxes, I checked the Rumble ulti. It has already been used. It looks scary, but it's bad enough. Immortals going to take Dragon number 3.
They don't miss.
All right, Raze again. The target, Gale forced out to safety. Stixxay wants this kill so badly, but Destiny will deny him.
Papa Destiny, he's just there for you. He was there for Jinx earlier on, and Insanity needing a helping hand, the Lantern was there to save him. This is just so tough. Anytime Golden Guardians feel like they have an angle, nope, blocked.
How is Insanity already taking down this tower. The man has not left the bottom lane in a while, and he's the mid laner, if you need a reminder. But he takes down the inhib tower with the help of the Baron buff. The rest of the squad's going to crash through and take out mid, and it's going to be like 2 inhibs minimum at this rate.
Yeah, you're in iconic shoes. What can you really do? He does have a stopwatch, but what play is even going to make it useful? It really is on solo, and I think you understood that earlier on, trying to find an assassination on Insanity, but that's just a tough one. I mean, you know that you have such limited time, so that's never going to work. So every time Golden Guardians try for something, it gets blocked out. There's another angle here,
yeah,
but Revenge gets out of it.
So nice. Little stride breaker to the left. Gets himself away from the potential solar flare out of Chime. And again, I said 2 inhibs minimum. They're working on it. Still 50 seconds left of the Baron to make it happen. IMT just completely splitting this bottom side perfectly.
10K gold lead, 24 minutes into the game, and they even doesn't have an inhibitor down yet. There it goes. But it's just so damn difficult to claw your way out of this one, especially if your only real playmakers are the Syndra Lee Sin. Nidalee's just waiting and preying on a hope. Didn't hit on this one, Olive, but he did get chunked out.
Yeah, Raze is like just completely going straight in for it. This is the kind of power you can do that to a Syndra. Blaze Olive will be forced to flash.
Got him!
Immortals will get the 2 inhibs. I said they would, and Raze did find the snipe.
Yeah, that was a fadeaway. There is so much hype around Oceanic talent with King coming up. We got to talk about Raze. I know his first split wasn't the best with IMT, but his last 2 games were damn sensational. So good stuff out of him on that Tristana, and then today on this Jinx. Here we go.
Oh, goodness. Revenge, that's just bullying. Xerxes going to take out Chime as Revenge showstoppered him into the waiting arms of the rest of his team. And that gold lead keeps growing. Razorback, the Brand's worn off, but IMT on time. No need to recall, no need to reset. IMT just bashing through Golden Guardian's base.
Yeah, they're not going to recall. I think this feels like it's going to be an endgame situation. If you have 3 inhibitors, you're a full HP, and there's really no way for Golden Guardians to fight into you. So they're just prepping the waves at this point.
Just snap the fingers, wipe out half, and unfortunately for Golden Guardians, they hit tails every single coin flip because IMT are just cruising in this game here. A last-minute solo flare. Chime has to make something happen. Solo looking for the angle, finds a kickback, but it's only Destiny as Raze dominating, takes out 2. The man's on course for a Penta. Xerxes does at least take a 3rd away there as Iconic finds a shutdown onto Raze as Golden Guardians try as they may. But the Bud Light Ace is going to give Immortals their 2nd victory on the weekend, and damn, Raz, does it look good.
That's when everybody at home is going to start recalibrating where does this team fit, of course, in the docket, because IMT are just that damn good. Look at Revenge, that confidence. I feel like that top jungle synergy between Xerxes and Revenge is going to be the topic of the weekend.
Think so. And you know what? Tweet might not have worked out for Revenge, but the play on the Rift certainly did. Looking very, very good as set into Lee Sin. Lee Sin's one of those champions, like, this is a problem.
Yeah.
How do you play against this? Revenge is like, set, I guess.
Yeah, double set, 2 sets in a row. Give us a bow. It's a great overall performance. It's a team win for this squad. Yeah, it's just damn nice to see. And speaking of the tweets, I mean, I just love the banter overall.
Oh, yes, please. Don't stop.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going. I love it. I know Portillo on Twitter loves the violence.
Be smart. Yes, keep going.
Exactly. But a lot of smiles here for IMT off of what is so far already a great weekend. Taking down 100 Thieves, taking down Golden Guardians. They feel like they're getting close to splitting the difference, finding themselves at 500 in the standings. I think that means that they're 9-11 now, but like we're getting closer and closer. Where now IMT's in that conversation for like deeper in playoffs. I mean, EG has to be concerned with where they're currently placed. It just feels like it's just working out for them.
Yeah, it's the overall synergy, the team play, the like how much more coordinated they look around their jungler.
Yes.
Feels like to be like the obvious thing. Yes, he's getting Rumble. Yes, he's amazing on the champion, but it's not to do with the champion at that point.
Yeah.
It's to do with the fact that they're like playing together, which matters a lot as it turns out in a team game.
Exactly. It just comes down to the fact that, yes, the champion is definitely going to help them. And I think people are going to minimize it to just be about the draft. When it's so much more, they literally stomped Golden Guardians, and yesterday made easy work out of 100 Thieves. So it's more than that. It's them feeling knowing what their identity is as a team and playing around it coherently. So a lot of positives here. I can't emphasize it enough how good IMT is right now.
Yeah, they look absolutely amazing. So should be happy. Definitely on pace for a 3-0 at this rate, given how good their weekends looked. And to kind of counterbalance the idea of like, well, Revenge and Xerxes, playing these champions are good at that are pretty good right now. Like, what does that mean? I would look at the rest of the Rift for Immortals because the flexibility of Insanity we already know, but Ray's showing us different looks. Destiny, similar champions, but still different looks. I think they've got a lot of depth to their play, and their foundation is solid. Given that you are just starting the summer split of the LCS 2021, that is a great place to be in Immortals, where teams are struggling to figure out what do we even play, let alone how do we play the game together.
Yeah, like you can never emphasize it enough on week 1 of the next split. It's the teams that have stayed together for the longest that are obviously going to kick the ground running. They're the ones that are going to be looking great right from the get-go. But the level of depth that we're seeing right now from this team, there's going to be a game, of course. I'm expecting it to be the next one tomorrow where the Rumble does get banned away from Xerxes after how many people have already talked about how great he is on the champion. But then if he's on literally anything, if he's on Udyr, it's just going to still be the same Immortals. So level up the competition. Everyone is getting there. IMT feels like they're already there. Speaking of that, I want to talk about a little bit more on Golden Guardians because so far, this was a rough game. They had a great game yesterday. I feel even with this rough game, there are some things we could take away from it. When they were that far behind, they were finding angles around the map, either to trade or to just try and find those angles. So I want to see what the next game looks like for the team.
Yeah, I think certainly a lot of growth for these two teams. But Immortals taking the 2-0 certainly have to be feeling pretty good. And with that, LaTigris is standing by with Xerxes for our Verizon post-game interview. Let's hear it.
Thank you so much, Paste Your Time. It is so hard not to have a giant smile on your face when you know that the rest of Xerxes' team is on the opposite side of these cameras cheering you on for this interview. Yeah! 2-0 for Immortals to kick off Summer. You got to break out the Rumble. Just give me the raw reaction of how you're feeling with such a strong start.
Well, I'm just happy that I got to play my signature champion. I hope people will ban it in the upcoming games so I can show that I can play more champions. Because last split I literally played only 2 champions. So I want to expand on that champion pool.
I know that your coach Gilhoto was memeing a bit on Twitter before about canceling all the draft meetings. We don't need them. But it did feel like Immortals got exactly what you wanted across the board in the draft. Do you think that's fair to say?
Oh, relatively. I mean, we do have a lot of picks to show, and it's been only 2 games, so we have a lot to show, that's for sure.
Now, this was a game that Immortals definitely had a stronghold right from the beginning. What do you feel was key to having such a strong start here today?
I think we've been practicing for some time right now, and the problem in spring is we don't really have time to get to know each other and actually play as a team. We kind of just started. We didn't have a bootcamp, so we just started spring split, and that was it. We didn't have time to know anything about each other, and now that we are playing for a month, and it actually feels like I know what my teammates are capable of, and it shows in the way we're playing.
You were one of the later additions when it came to the start of the season, so you had to hop right into it when it came to the actual professional play. Looking at what you have gained over this past month leading up into summer, what do you think was the greatest learning that you and the team had coming into these games this weekend?
I think basically what I said, that we spent a lot of time outside of the game getting to know each other, and funny enough, I think that actually translates into how good of a team we are right now, because we are not just working teammates. We are actually friends outside of the Rift, and I think that's the biggest difference compared to spring.
We talked so much about those intangibles and how having fun off of the Rift really does seem to make a difference in the gameplay itself. When it comes to who, at this point of time, now that you have gotten to know your teammates a bit more, is making the calls, calling for that action, is it you or is it a shared experience across the roster members?
I would say it's a shared experience. I obviously have a lot more responsibility towards my teammates because I have the most experience, so I do feel like I do have to do much more. But I would say the burden is shared onto all of us.
which is always a great place to be, right? When you can also know that you have the confidence as a shot caller, but rely on your teammates. 2-0 is obviously a very nice place to start for Summer. How does that energize you and the rest of the team continuing forward, knowing that you do have to fight with the existing record, but still scrapping through towards those playoffs?
I'm just focusing on getting the 3-0 week right now, and just trying to think of only one game at a time, and yeah, just one game at a time.
Do you think that you will be allowed to play Rumble again?
Probably not.
All right, well, we will definitely hope out, because it was so fun to get to watch you. And thank you so much for joining me here for this interview.
Thank you.
We are going to continue with our LCS coverage on the analyst desk right after this break, so don't go anywhere.